Hi everyone, welcome back to A+ English. I'm Pat.
And I'm Angeline.
So we're on part 2 of the Wangs Go Camping part 2. So it's almost part 4 of the story. Now the Wangs, they are at a campsite.
Which is where they go camping, right? Things haven't been
Great.
going very well.
No, it's been very windy, so Mr. Wang had trouble setting up the tent.
Part of the problem is that he forgot to drive the stakes into the ground, which are those pointed
wooden things
or
that
metal
keep
things.
the tent from blowing off.
Yeah.
Now then, Paige went to walk Mac and Cheese, their dogs, but she lost the twins. They were behind her 1 second ago and then gone.
So the family goes to look for them and finds them. And,
good.
Well, do you know why?
I do. We talked about it yesterday. They stopped to collect bugs.
Gross!
Look, here's a worm, a cockroach, all these beetles or spiders. What are they going to do with them?
I don't know.
Are they going to put them in Paige's sleeping bag? Something like that?
Are they going to eat them, maybe?
Feed them to Mac and Cheese? Who knows? What is going to happen next? What can go wrong next? Let's find out.
Meet the Wangs. 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 The Wangs Go Camping Part 2.
Mrs. Wang and the children are waiting for Mr. Wang to start the fire.
Is the fire ready yet? I'm getting hungry.
Dad, I thought you could start a fire just like that.
You know what's wrong? The wood is too big. You need to use small branches or leaves to start a fire.
Kids, be careful around the fire. Don't burn yourselves.
It's so much fun to cook dinner over a fire.
What is that in the bushes? Is it a bear? It's going to eat us alive.
Let me check it out. It was just a deer.
Grandpa, can you tell us stories about when you were young?
I sure can.
The Wangs listen to Grandpa tell stories.
Word power!
Wood. Wood. These pencils are made of wood. These pencils are made of wood. Burn. Burn. The hot tea burned my tongue. The hot tea burned my tongue. Alive. Alive. Nathan is lucky to be alive after the accident. Nathan is lucky to be alive after the accident. Story. Story. We spent the afternoon listening to Grandma's life story. We spent the afternoon listening to Grandma's life story. Okay, so we'll let the pictures tell the start of the story. First, we see that Mrs. Wang and the children are waiting for Mr. Wang to start the fire.
Okay, so they're going to have a fire made of wood rather than like a gas one that you can bring with you. I would have bought a gas one if it were me, but anyway, Timmy says, "Is the fire ready yet? I'm getting hungry."
Oh no, it sounds like he's been doing this for a while.
Yes.
Paige is a little more pushy about it. She's a little bit mean. She says, "Dad, I thought you could start a fire just like that." We use the idiom just like that when we want to say that something happens very quickly or easily. Sometimes we even snap our fingers. It shows just how fast something can happen. Pat can make me laugh just like that most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. Okay, luckily, someone in the family knows what to do. We can see from the pictures that Grandpa, who he didn't say anything yesterday. He was obviously just sitting and watching, just probably laughing at his presumably his son. He shows Mr. Wang how to start a fire. He's like, I'll show you how it's done. You young'uns, you don't know anything.
So he tells Mr. Wang what he did wrong. He says, you know what's wrong? The wood is too big. So we chop down a tree for its wood. Wood is the material trees are made of.
There you go. Let's use wood in a sentence. Have you got one for me?
These pencils are made of wood. These pencils are made of wood.
Well, the outside certainly is, at least.
Yes.
So this is true. You can't just expect a big piece of wood to suddenly catch on fire if all you're using is matches or a cigarette lighter or something. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
There's not enough heat energy in the match to make the big lump of wood catch fire.
Right.
So what should Mr. Wang have done? Grandpa says you need to use small branches or leaves to start a fire.
Ah, smart.
Okay.
Grandpa.
So, and then the fire from those will get hotter as it burns the smaller ones, and
Fire
the heat will
bigger.
get more, and then it can burn the bigger ones, and you can get air in there. There's a skill to building a fire.
Sounds like you know how to do that.
I've started a few fires, yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, we also use the word branches here. A branch, B-R-A-N-C-H, branch, is the part of a tree that grows off from the main trunk. It's almost like the arms of a tree, if you think about it that way.
Next, we see that everyone starts cooking around the fire.
Great. Okay, well, I wonder what... They've got to be making s'mores.
Maybe.
If you remember from a couple of months ago, we showed you how to do that in A+ English. Anyway, Mrs. Wang gives them all a warning, saying, kids, be careful around the fire. Don't burn yourselves. Okay, good advice. Burn is a verb, B-U-R-N, burn, and it's to hurt yourself or someone else with fire or something that's very hot. Okay, for example, the hot tea burned my tongue. The hot tea burned my tongue.
I burn my tongue very often.
I do it when I eat pizza. It's that.
Really?
It's the hot cheese. I can't wait for it to cool down. That really hot cheese or tomato sauce. I just don't wait. I just put it in my mouth. Burned.
You eat hot. I rarely eat hot pizza fresh out of the oven. Are you making your own pizza? Is that
Sometimes,
why?
yes.
Ah, okay. So pizza burns your tongue.
It can if it's very hot, yeah.
Okay. So Jimmy likes doing this. He says, it's so much fun to cook dinner over a fire.
It kind of is. It makes you feel like, you're
actually cooking, right?
Yeah, or like you're from 100 or several hundred years ago. And there's something in it, I think, particularly for guys, it kind of feels like a manly sort of thing to do, which is why we barbecue.
I actually like the taste of food that's been cooked over a fire. It tastes
does
a bit
have
different.
some nice flavors. Next, we see that Paige notices a rustle in the bushes. Okay, so there's this sound. A rustle, R-U-S-T-L-E. Here it's a noun. We could also use a verb, something rustled in the bushes. And it's a kind of a soft, muffled, kind of crackling sound. It's a bit like that's made by, or the noise that's made by the movement of dry leaves brushing against each other, or pieces of paper, kind of like this.
So kind of like there's something in the bushes moving,
Yeah, moving
right?
around and making a noise.
Okay, so Paige is scared. She says, or actually she screams, "What is that in the bushes?" So a bush is a plant that is smaller than a tree. It has a lot of thin branches. Remember that word, branches, growing very close together, okay? So you can't even see the center of the
Not easily,
trunk of it, yeah. For example, roses grow on bushes, okay? They don't grow on trees, they grow on bushes.
Same is true of strawberries, isn't it? They grow on a bush. Okay. Paige also says, is it a bear? What? A great big bear in the woods?
It's possible.
In your country, yes. And it probably would be a bear in Canada somewhere.
Is there no bears in Taiwan?
There are the black bears,
Right.
but I guess they're only up in the mountains. I've never heard of any kind of wandering around near campsites. But Paige is worried. She says, it's going to eat us alive.
Oh, no. no.
Okay. The word alive, A-L-I-V-E, alive means still living and not dead. So if the bear was going to eat them alive, it wouldn't even wait for them to die.
No.
It would just start eating them.
It wouldn't kill them first.
Yeah. Or they would die during the process of being eaten, but it wouldn't wait until they were dead first.
Yeah.
Here's another example of the word alive. Nathan is lucky to be alive after the accident. Okay. And of course, a lot of animals don't eat dead things that have been lying there for a long time. They actually eat it only when it's freshly killed, and they usually start eating it kind of in the process of killing it. Think of a tiger jumping on something and just kind of biting into it.
I think we're the only people who eat stuff that... Well, actually, some of us eat stuff alive.
There's some other... Well, yes. And there's also some animals that we call them scavengers. They only eat the dead stuff that's been lying around for a while.
Right. So Mr. Wong, he isn't scared.
Oh,
okay?
brave him.
He goes toward the bushes and says, "Let me check it out." So to check something out is an idiom, and it means to take a look at something or to get more information about something so you know if it's true or if it's safe.
You could also say check it out, meaning to go and see something. Like, let's check out this movie. You know, let's check out this restaurant, this coffee shop. Anyway, Mr. Wong then says, "It was just a deer." Okay,
deer.
So something that will not eat you alive anyway. Deer, D-E-E-R. It's of course an animal. It's also the plural. It's one deer, two deer. And it's an animal that eats grass and plants, and it has hard feet like a horse. The males, the boy deer, they often have these hard things growing out of their heads, which we call antlers. Bambi. I'm talking about Bambi. Bambi is a deer. Okay. All Bambi and her mom and Bambi's dad, they're all deer. Yeah, they're all deer.
Okay. Later we see that the Wongs are done eating dinner. So they're all full from their meal. Done. Done means finished. Your mom might ask you, "Are you done your homework yet?" It's the same as, "Are you finished your homework yet?"
Yeah, you say, "Yes, I'm done." Okay, of course, done is also the PP of do, did, done. But here, done is being used as an adjective. Yeah, "Are you done? Is the report done yet?" That kind of thing. Timmy then says, "Grandpa, can you tell us stories about when you were young?" I'm sure Grandpa's got a few. If he knows how to start fires, he's probably got a few other interesting stories around. The word story is spelled S-T-O-R-Y, story. And it's an account of past events or how something has changed over time. And of course, stories are what's in books. Stories are in movies. Stories are what we tell to kids or what we tell each other. Let me tell you this story about what happened back in something. It's almost always something in the past. Okay, for example, we spent the afternoon listening to Grandma's life story. We spent the afternoon listening to Grandma's life story. So all the things that happened in her life.
Right. Grandpa would love to share his stories, so he says, "I sure can." The word sure is being used as an adverb in this sentence. It's used to emphasize a statement, to make a statement sound strong, like stronger, I guess. For example, if someone asks me if I like ice cream, I would say, "I sure do," because I really, 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 really like ice cream.
There you go. Now, finally, we see that the Wangs listen to Grandpa tell stories. Okay, so that's where we're going to wrap them up. They have not been eaten by a bear.
No, they haven't.
They didn't get eaten by a bear in the bushes. They're cooking, sitting around the fire, listening to stories. It's a happy ending. And now it's time for our happy ending as we go to our wrap-up. Okay, so we didn't see a bear. We did see a deer. Have you had any animal encounters?
I've seen Actually, no. I've seen a bear in front of my house, but I was inside my house.
That's pretty close. That's as close as I'd want to be to a bear, except in a zoo.
It's very common in Canada during the summer when we take out the garbage and we leave it on the street, and the bears will come hunting for food. Yeah.
The biggest thing I've ever seen in life is a badger. It's called a huan, I think is the Chinese for it, in my parents' garden. If you live nearby. And they're dangerous. I've had a big snake around me as well.
Really?
Just a friendly one kind of on my shoulders.
Okay.
And some very big birds on my arm.
Okay, when you go to the zoo or whatever.
Yeah, that sort of thing. All right, we're out of time for today. Thanks for listening, everybody. For A+ English, I'm Pat.
I'm Angeline.
Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Step by step.
You know what's wrong? You know what's wrong?
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure I'm doing everything right. What am I doing wrong?
You know what's wrong?
No, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Oh, I see the problem now. How silly of me.
A+ 小聚会
Anyone fancy a soda drinking contest?
Anyone fancy a soda drinking contest?
Hello everyone, this is Winnie. 夏天大家一整天赖在海滩也是会无聊的吧？ You could try surfing or playing volleyball, 但总是会玩腻嘛。这种时候就是要考验大家发挥创意的时候啦。无聊的话可以玩些什么游戏呢？比如今天小聚会的游戏就蛮可爱的啦。Anyone fancy a soda drinking contest? Anyone fancy a soda drinking contest?A soda drinking contest 就是喝汽水比赛。若是要提议做什么，我们可以把这句型学起来 Fancy doing something。 比如今天下课后要去看电影，顺便约一下坐隔壁的女生 Fancy going to a movie with me？ 或是 Fancy for something 一样也是很帅的啦。 What do you fancy for your drink? A sundae or a milkshake?你想要来点什么嘞？是圣代还是奶昔？哇，这样把妹也是不是很帅嘞？好了，不要太兴奋，我们赶快复习一下今天的小聚会。Anyone fancy a soda drinking contest? 哇，这听起来是不是还蛮有趣的嘞？我只是怕我喝完再去游泳会吐出来耶，喝汽水很容易胀耶，但不能输。I have to think about how to win this game.
Anyone fancy a soda drinking contest?
Anyone fancy a soda drinking contest?
Me the ones. 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 Meet the ones. The ones go camping part 2.
Mrs. Wong and the children are waiting for Mr. Wong to start the fire.
Is the fire ready yet? I'm getting hungry.
Dad, I thought you could start a fire just like that.
You know what's wrong? The wood is too big. You need to use small branches or leaves to start a fire.
Kids, be careful around the fire. Don't burn yourselves.
It's so much fun to cook dinner over a fire.
What is that in the bushes? Is it a bear? It's going to eat us alive.
Let me check it out. It was just a deer.
Grandpa, can you tell us stories about when you were young?
I sure can.
The Wongs listen to Grandpa tell stories.
Wood. Wood. These pencils are made of wood. These pencils are made of wood. Burn. Burn. The hot tea burned my tongue. The hot tea burned my tongue. Alive. Alive. Nathan is lucky to be alive after the accident. Nathan is lucky to be alive after the accident. story, story. We spent the afternoon listening to Grandma's life story. We spent the afternoon listening to Grandma's life story.